Hi, this is Connie, and I'm the Executive Director for Families Together, and we serve families who have kids with disabilities in Kansas, just like all the other PTIs in our region. But we do something that's a little bit unique and really is based on what our founder did to start Families Together 27 years ago. And that is that Chris Curry was a teacher in Lawrence, Kansas, and she decided that the families that she served in her classroom really didn't have any time to get to know each other or have fun. And so she got some funding for what she called a family enrichment weekend. And she got a hotel, and when she went to the hotel, they asked, well, who's this group that's coming? And she said, well, it's just some families getting together. And so Families Together was born. And she just wanted families to have a time to have fun, bring all their kids to the hotel, and so it was just a fun weekend. And those families who came to that first family enrichment weekend in 1982 enjoyed themselves so much that they just didn't want that to end. So they wrote a federal grant to the Federal Department of Education and became the PTI, and we've been the PTI since 1986. We've continued to do our parent networking conferences and family enrichment weekends, except for 1 year when we weren't able to get the funding that we needed. And those weekends, one the whole family comes to was Family Enrichment Weekend, and the other is a parent networking conference. Family enrichment weekends include the entire family. The children with disabilities and their siblings come to the weekend, and we provide companions for them to have fun, do great stuff, and the parents at both weekends, whether the children are there or not, get great training from our staff, get to know each other, get to know the community activities and supports that are available in their area of the state. So the way a family enrichment weekend or a parent networking conference works is that the family or the parents come to the hotel on Friday evening for dinner. We tell them something about Families Together, and then they just get to know each other. We do some icebreakers, and then we do something that really gets rave reviews on our evaluations, and that is we divide the families, the parents, the moms and the dads. The moms have a discussion and the dads have a discussion separate from everyone else. And that's really an opportunity that a lot of dads don't ever get a chance to talk to other dads who are facing the same challenges that they have with their family that includes a child with a disability. So we try to give moms and dads that freedom to talk among themselves separately at each of our weekend events. Then on Saturday morning, everybody meets for breakfast. And we always start with special education law because that's really the foundation of what everybody needs to know. And even if they may have been to one of our weekends previously, you always hear something new when you hear a special education law presentation because there's just so much to know. So we do the Families Together, the Parent Networking Conference presentations. And then depending on the needs of the group of families that has come together that weekend, whether they're very young families or families whose kids are going from school to adult life, we really tailor the rest of the presentations to the families that are there. So we might do our Step Ahead at Age 3 workshop for families who have infants and toddlers who are approaching that transition. Or we might do an IEP workshop or a transition from school to adult life, or some combination of those depending on the registration and the families who have come together that weekend. We always ask on the registration form what kinds of things they want out of the weekend, and we try to tailor it to that. At the end of the weekend, we always end with an effective advocacy workshop. And the effective advocacy workshop really helps families to understand partnering with all of the partners that they might be working with their child, whether it's school community services, or healthcare providers, and how they can be a good partner with those people who are helping their child. As a part of that workshop, each family makes a commitment to themselves about the things that they will be doing in the coming weeks to be effective advocates. And they take one of those copies home with them and they leave one with us. And then a week or so later, one of our staff members calls them back and asks if they need any help with whatever they've chosen to do. It could be working in their child's school. It could be providing some information to their child's teacher. It could be working on legislation. It could be joining an advisory group. It could be any of those things, or something different. But we help them then to see if there are things that they need to fulfill what they've promised themselves, and any support that we can give them. That helps them to become better advocates, to have the support that they need to do that, and to really become parent leaders. And I think each of the families that comes to our weekends leaves there revitalized, renewed, and empowered to work in the systems that support their child or young adult with a disability. And Chris Curry started all this 27 years ago, and she's still doing weekends in Idaho and in Washington, D.C. And Families Together is proud to be carrying on that legacy in Kansas.